Chat disabled for live stream. I have a feeling that's not correct. I got a feeling. What's going on with that? Chat's right there. Unlist. No. I don't know why OBS is telling me that. I guess I'll just not worry about it. I figured it was telling me chat disabled because I wasn't live. I don't know, that's something on OBS's end. Chat disabled for this stream. Weird. I guess I'll not worry about it. Anyway, hi everyone, welcome. How do I know if chat's not working? Okay, thank you. I guess I'll just keep the preview up. I don't want to. Nah, I'm gonna pop out chat. I don't like seeing the analytics. So I'll just throw it over OBS. Anyway, hello Victor, welcome. So I got some plans to go over, and while doing so, I'm going to vacantly and absent-mindedly play Final Fantasy XIV and do my dailies. I should be good to get some gear after this. So, yeah, plans for the new year is what we'll be discussing, and probably some other stuff. Some other topics that we're probably going to touch on in future streams as well. That's the background music. Yeah, I spent, like 2 years ago, I scrounged up everything I could. This playlist of music is like 400 tracks. And it just builds. The more games I play, the longer it gets. Every time I play a new JRPG, the playlist has to get updated. I always, though sometimes I'm playing a game and I'm like, man, this is gonna be in the video, this is gonna be in the background. And then it comes time to put it in, it's like, this doesn't work as well as I thought it did. And then other times it works out wonderfully. Oh, no. Fuck. But yeah, and in general, all the, Persona, uh-oh. Nope, re-rolling. I get to re-roll, right? I get to re-roll? I've never done that in the middle of a mini cactpot. Turn the game up. Oh my god. I like that guy's portrait. Didn't get to see mine though, it was off stream. Scott, I don't have to do that. So anyway, yeah, mindless Final Fantasy XIV background noise and background visual as I discuss things. I guess starting with Persona, yeah, Persona 3 is gonna be the first video I tackle. Once I get the ball rolling on that, which will be very soon. since the release is this week. We'll do another stream shortly this week. I want to do more than one stream a week. We're gonna have more than one stream a week, and we're gonna be trying that out here and see how it goes. And especially since I can't obviously get a Persona 3 video done in time for its release, you know, it'll be something to just take a look at and discuss. It is something that needs to be discussed, specifically for Persona 3. If you don't know the situation with it, it's Persona 3 is the priority to cover because Persona 3 has the most conflicting versions of which to play, and it's a mess. I am always like apprehensive to throw out mods when there's things that when I feel like it really should be comparing base vanilla versions. Like, I always make an emphasis of that, unless I really need to, or like it just doesn't hurt to know that there's fan solutions, which is another thing. But gameplay 14. Oh yeah, I love it. 14, specifically Shadowbringers, is, I think, my favorite Final Fantasy. Shadowbringers in general is just one of my favorite video games of all time. Shit's incredible. But anyway, with Persona 3, I gotta tell you, when I first played it myself, years ago, and I finished Persona 3 Portable, and I had, when I finished Persona 3 Portable, and I was thinking, like, yeah, this was, you know, obviously it's lower than 4 and 5 in some aspects, especially gameplay, of course. There's no really, like, debating that. Oh, fuck, I've never seen him come from that side. And then my one critique and problem with Persona 3 Portable, after I finished it with no experience with the other versions, I was thinking, you know, that was alright, but the pacing was really off. It was, it felt like a very short game, all things considered. Even when you're used to Persona and you know how, you know how things go with it. Fuck. And you know how things go with it. So I started playing the PS2 version of Persona 3, and it all became clear. It was like, oh, this is why I have such a problem with the pacing of Persona 3 Portable. This is why the pacing feels off. Because it is. Nobody talk about my fucked up burst window. So, nice. I am so personally hesitant against recommending Persona 3 Portable after I started and finished Persona 3 Portable and then started up the PS2 version and install everything in 3D, install everything with the animations that were supposed to accompany it, and it just became evident it isn't just like a visual novel adaptation, but the pacing of the whole game is eroded, and it's not really properly adjusted for it. I didn't even get that far in PS2 one, and you know, one of the things that I always do complain about with 3 is the story moment where your companions get their upgraded personas, which is a part of the story. You can't, it's not like optional. It ain't something you can miss. It's not behind optional social links. This is weaker, but yeah, sure. I don't need any of this gear, but I want it for all aiming gear too, wow. playing Portable, finished Fez on emulator 2 with widescreen patch and party control. Yeah, what I did was I also patched in the Reincarnation soundtrack. So I played it with on PS2, I played it with the Reincarnation and party control. I was playing it on my PS3, so I didn't have the widescreen patch. I'm wondering now if that would have worked. I don't think it would have. But yeah, if you're just doing straight emulator, then yeah. But anyway, yeah, it fucks with the pacing, I think, to play Portable, and I'm sure for the video I'll have a lot of moments to really compare it. And that's something with storytelling in general. A general rule, I won't say this in the video, but I'll discuss it as somebody who's worked in creative spaces and created projects and animations and worked in storytelling. A huge rule is show, don't tell. And the thing about Persona 3 Portable is it's all tell. I was just thinking, like, it's possible that the story moments where your companions get their upgraded personas might be stronger in the PS2 version, just because in Portable, they say a couple lines of dialogue and then you get text telling you your companion's persona upgraded, right? So Persona 3 Portable, being the visual novel style, can hamper the storytelling impact, and in that note, it becomes underwhelming. And regardless of like an opinion on that, it's worth knowing. First time. It is absolutely worth knowing that it's going to impact it like that. And that's why we'll give some good examples in the video. Is Femc in a bit at the end? Yeah. The thing, and that's the other thing about Persona 3, is Portable does have more content with. Well, no, that's debatable too, because man. So anyway, the point is, Persona 3 needs remade. It doesn't need a remaster. It doesn't need a best version. It needs a full-blown fucking. It needs a remake. Persona 3 needs a remake because there's such a deviation in content. Persona 3 Portable has the female protagonist, which has its own set of changes that are pretty significant, right? The more I read into them, because even though I played Portable, I still played Makoto, and I still wasn't, I didn't know until I read up on it what all changes with the female protagonist, and it's more than I expected. But then the answer, that's what it's called, the little extra story in Persona 3 Fez, the answer, that has that, and the answer is pretty controversial compared to like the extra semesters of 4 and 5. There's more debate on that, but I don't know if I'll touch on that exactly, because I still think that can be an opinion thing. I will trust my teammate knows my teammates were looking in the right directions. Alright, I guess either one of those works. Bold move by the tank. Really think the walking's a waste of time? Well, see, there you go. That was the other thing that spoiled it for me, and that made it harder to play it again. That made it harder to play Persona 3 on PS2 after playing Portable. Was now I do have to walk. But I mean, it was so much more immersive, but... And yeah, fast travel too. Yeah, for Persona 5, managed fast travel the best. Because of how close it is. But still, that's those gameplay things that adapted and improved over time. A visual novel, but more visual in my opinion with the fast travel. Yeah. But yeah, like I was saying, the big thing is the plot and story moments are shown to you instead of just being told to you. It leaves a stronger impact. I was thinking about with Crisis Core, right, is how so much of Crisis Core's dialogue was not voiced in the original. It was just the cutscenes. And there were still some pretty important cutscenes. There was still important dialogue in Crisis Core that, because it wasn't voiced, just kind of goes over your head or can get glossed over easily. Like when I was doing it for the video, and I thought I would think constantly I'm spotting differences in dialogue, and then I'd go back and no, there is no difference. It was just this cutscene used to be voiced before, or this cutscene wasn't voiced before. And there were a few things. There's some things there, by the way, with Crisis Core. It's I think customers will be misled and think it's like P4 and P5. I guess that's another thing too, yeah, is understanding Persona 3 was an older game, and it was the first shot at the current Persona formula. And that sets it apart. We'll talk about all this again once Persona 3 is out. But that's like tonight, isn't it? I was contacted by a PR firm, not by Atlas, but by a PR firm, about receiving the game for a stream. They didn't get back to me. I replied to them, but they didn't get back to me, so I don't know what's up with that. I think I was gonna get it on PC myself. Actually, no, I can't afford it, but... So, I will, I didn't really think that through. What would happen if they didn't get back to me. But I mean, we'll see then. Fuck. If no one's heard this music and is a fan of Final Fantasy IV, fuck. They've been so on the nose with the FF4 inspiration compared to past, like, influences of the older games. Like, the FF4 inspiration is so on the nose. I feel like we have to eventually hit a point where we can... I don't think it's mutually exclusive to recognize Uematsu's influence on the industry as a whole. Am I playing with humans? Why is no one moving? Why is nobody a ranged DPS like me and just moving around constantly? Anyway, it hit a point where we still recognize Uematsu radicalized this entire music industry, and it would never be the same with him. But Soken and his team are unbelievable and more than enough of worthy successors to Uematsu's legacy. And always, what's always crazy about that is Uematsu, I don't think, ever peaked. He had health-wise slowed down, but musically, I don't think he ever got to peak. As like listening to all of his music and how it just It just kept getting better and better. Oh shit, I wasn't looking. I was looking at chat. What was I saying beforehand? I play a modded PS2 than the PSP port, but that's me. Yeah, that's me too. That's what I was saying. And I'm like, I think that's the best way to play it, but it's not always a fair recommendation to say put all of this work into modding it. And for most, that isn't really terribly too much work. Oh shit. I do find it personally exhausting to worry about that kind of thing for like every game I play. But at the very least, the you know, party control mod is really important too. I don't know, man. It's a whole can of worms that I will figure out how to discuss. That's what's ultimately like sucks about it in discussing Persona 3 is there is no clear answer. There is no too long didn't read on it. There can be. Hold on, gotta type. This guy. He did a good job healing too. I wasn't, you know, I wasn't tanking, but anyway. Anyway, I was reading, got any crackpot theories for the next big change the team has been talking about for FF14? Not sure what we're meaning there. All I know for, 7.0 is the graphics changes. There's that. Anything formulaic, you mean? I guess we're in the unknown, right? We're in a huge unknown as to what they're gonna do. Or where we're gonna go. No! Wow, that counted. That's fair. What's up, Nightbot? The alias you set this command to be does not exist. But that is the command. Anyway, as I was gonna, I guess, speaking of what Nightbot was gonna link, we have channel memberships up, and I do plan to stream more often on the channel. At least more than once a week. I would like to do more than once a week. Yeah, I think we can talk story for it. Yeah, I've already done it. Yeah, I have these quests on the side here to go back for because I didn't do them. They're the optional ones that give more exposition and exposition, optional exposition. Part of me is hoping for an engine overhaul so the game can run better and they remove old limitations. That would be great. Because because like sometimes I feel like we are so far away from that, and then they'll discuss something that's like, yeah, we had this issue because of old limitations. There's things like getting rid of belts, right? But needing to get rid of belts was probably still necessary no matter how they handled it. Maybe. Can we increase that tick rate though? That would be nice. I don't know if the tick rate's part of it, too. .1.0 to 2.0, but not as drastic, right? If anything, I would actually kind of expect 7.0 to actually look more in line with what 1.0 looked like, since that was one of the huge shortcomings of 1.0, and the visual fidelity it tried to go for was one of the key problems. Okay, I got him off me. I think they're gonna force a rejoining with the 13th. I think that's Golbez's goal, right? Well, I think that's I think there will be an attempt. I think there will be an attempt. Is that Crackpot? I don't know. I could, oh, I just realized I can put this, the events thing in the bottom right. It got less Crackpot with this patch, right? What I can tell you, though, is I am excited. It's been kind of a slow build-up. And not just a slow build-up, but not as interesting of a build-up. Though I personally been a fan of Zero's character. She's pretty one-note and tropey. I haven't really cared about that, though. It's definitely put some people off, but I think Zero's fine. This game has had way, way, way higher highs, but it's also had lower lows. So... Oh no. Because the gods only appeared after her death, right? Ah, fuck. I was reading chat, so I missed that. I should get chat, like, in an overlay. That would help a lot for a game like 14. The thing is, I don't know how much longer Zero may stay around, because whatever the current story arc they're doing is going to end next six. It's going to end in 6.4. Right, everything they're doing is going to end there. So, I don't know. I hope she sticks around. Feels weird to say. I don't think she's been tragic enough of a character to, like, be met with a terrible fate. I was gonna say, if I do that, if I do Apex Arrow, I'm gonna take aggro. And thus I have proceeded to take aggro. Zero gets a goddamn tan. I love the story of this game, man, though. Just to talk about it more. I have rewatched the Shadowbringers cutscenes. I rewatched the ending of Shadowbringers, and it hits just as hard. Gotta text mom. Don't raid and text, kids. Anyway. Yeah, rewatching the ending of Shadowbringers, shit hits just as hard. Also, the ending of Endwalker still hits just as hard. Shadowbringers more so. For me, Shadowbringers and as villain have executed what Final Fantasy villains tend to try to do, right? Emmett goes by a lot of conventions of Final Fantasy villains, and I think Emmett executes them better than any other prior villain. I actually like, controversial opinion here, I liked Final Fantasy 15. I recognize every mistake of it, and it is not a game I wholeheartedly recommend, but I really liked Final Fantasy 15. Arden could have been an extremely good villain. The framework was there. Please note I don't have backflip on my hotbar. But Emmett executed everything Arden was trying to do. It's so much so, I think there could be people that don't see the story similarity between the two characters, and maybe that's... I think that'd be my... I think that'd be my point. I didn't react to all the Shadowbringers. See, I had a friend too, who, they were getting into the story as a significant other for a while as well, as we were playing. And more of the point was to get to Shadowbringers, because you can't keep, like, Emmett a secret, right? So part of the appeal was Emmett's character. And one of the faults there is that entire story is stuck behind Realm Reborn, Heaven's Sword. It's behind like 400 hours of JRPG. Yeah, exactly. Yep, compared to what Kefka, Sephiroth, Arden tried to do, and by all means, most of them did what they were supposed to do. I think the only one that you would consider an attempt at trying to do it is Arden, and he got held back by so much other superfluous stuff. Still, though, Emmett did it the best, I think. But anyway, yeah, I had a significant other we were playing through together, and they can't finish it now. They're in the middle of a move and everything. Didn't really react the same, and I think part of it, unfortunately, has to be that because you were an active player during all of it, that makes a huge influence on it. And it's a little bit unprecedented. I can't say WoW doesn't have a story and that people don't love WoW's story. But the quality of the story in 14 is unprecedented for an MMO. And in that regard, even though it's so quality in its own right, it is still part of a active player base and community. And that makes a huge influence on it. But anyway, it also is the slog that is the rest of the game. I learned some other things, like, well, I was big on Stormblood too. Stormblood's story, to some, is more Dry is... I don't know. I don't... Personally, I don't... For some people, oh, right, ignore ads. I don't see too big of a deal with, I don't see too big of a deal with Heaven's Sword story. Not like it didn't hit hard. But I wasn't as big on Heaven's Sword playing through it. Oh my god. I forgot my dots. Forgot my song. Stormblood was more fun to play. That's absolutely true. Stormblood like content was like really fun just to play. And it still kind of is. When Stormblood came out, at the time I was house sitting for a friend, so I brought my whole PC over to their house to play Stormblood. And there was something about doing that that made the whole experience stick out more. Kicked my extremely dangerous 1,000-hour year Final Fantasy XIV addiction in 2022, and now you're giving me insane withdrawals. Sorry, Saturn. Unfortunately, no plans of stopping, but also appreciate the $4.99. I've been playing it so much more recently. Nice. Getting into it. And that was also after playing the game with a significant other. Regardless of how they were feeling about the story, they helped me get through tank anxiety that I had for a long time. Which, to be fair, if you played this game now and didn't play it back then when enmity wasn't guaranteed and you had to work a little to keep enmity, that's what made me anxious about it. I have a lot of stuff I gotta go sell. Played since 1.0? Oh man. Do you got the tattoo then? Or was that save abandoned? I have a friend who... I think I have two friends who played during 1.0. No, because I lost that account. That's unfortunate. But your name's in the credits, though, right? That's what I remember. I don't know why I'm going through all this. Force a habit. Literally, the first thing I do every time I log in is go into the workshop. Anyway. $9.10 going on. Going on the market board. Going on the market board later. Name is in the credit, and the character has the onion hat and the Sid goggles still because I never used those vouchers back then. Tanking is the easiest job, yeah. That's also what I feel about it. What the stepping stones for it were, number one, the enmity changes. Number two, hold on, I should swap jobs for this. I'm gonna have to do a little hotbar reorganizing. It was a Gunbreaker because Gunbreaker's fucking cool. So I wanted to play a cool job, so that made me play tank. And then it was playing with significant other, and seeing them, like when they started, I didn't really direct much on what tanking was like, aside from what the game tells you in like the novice hall and how it works from there and how enmity works. And they loved it. TP, there's that too. I will need to revise hotbars if I do something else. I don't know if I want to do that. Stick to Archer. Only tank I play is Dark Knight. That's the other thing is in this current, like, see, the reason I've been playing this more is because I don't really want to invest into any other games right now with other games coming up, and I want something I can play and just shut my head off and shut my brain off and just like play while watching videos and watching something. So I have been in Bajja leveling Warrior, Gunbreaker I got to 90, leveling Dragoon, Red Mage, and not leveling a healer. I don't like healing in this game. My favorite job has always been Bard. And that's pretty unreplaceable. I appreciate being able to move as much as I want and also being support. And when I'm not talking and playing at the same time, I enjoy the management of songs and dots. Break was trust dungeoning. Is trust dungeoning really that efficient? That's crazy. That would make sense though. Yeah, it was I've gotten them all to 81 because I want to take them into the new deep dungeon. So I'm stopped at 81. Favorite class story? Probably Warrior, because I didn't really pay as much attention with everyone. And even then, Warriors is not as much to write home about. So I don't have as much of a satisfying answer for that. You do get the XP, right? Is it because there's a bunch of things in this game that are like as efficient as each other that you could do for leveling, like PvP, dungeons, whatever the latest dungeon is for you, or things like Bajja and Deep Dungeon, and Trust Dungeons as well. So out of those things, I love PvP. Ever since the changes to it, Crystalline Conflict is fun. Sometime we'll do that. Trust will never... It is if you know what you're doing. Trust will never die unless you're a healer. So as a tank, you can force them to do large pulls with the Endwalker earrings and a free company buff. You get half... Or, that was message 1 out of 2. You, a level every 3 runs. Oh, that's good. Wow. And because it's so easy, you can turn your brain off. Yeah. Damn, I wish mine were that far along. That was another thing, when I was getting used to tanking and how I was teaching myself to tank was by doing it with the, I was tanking with my trusts. But I only went as far as, not that, I only went as far as, 1,000 Maws? We went to 30. We definitely didn't do Sunken Temple. I don't think that's an option. The one I know I did the most was 1,000 Maws. Since 1,000 Maws was updated, it's the most similar to the formula of modern dungeons. So it's really the easiest and safest one to just practice on, basically. And if anyone wants to learn tanking in the safest possible environment, it's probably 1,000 Maws with trusts. Hold on, let me responding to mom. But yeah, we are going to, with the house lottery coming up, we are going to try to move into a mansion. And I am working on getting us the cafe exterior. But for now, it's a manor in Shirogane. I'm excited for it. I have high hopes because they added so many... they added just enough wards where we... Last time, during the last lottery, when they added... The last time they added wards was like the only time properties were available. And we were up against like 30 people at minimum. It sucked. So now we're going to be against like 2 or 3 people wherever we go. Between wherever mansion we decide to get. Trusts are really good at making sure they never die. That's good. But again, just with the Shirogane mansions. Or the apartment. I kind of wish we had, just because the odds are so much higher, I wish we had enough money to put a bid in on 2 properties, just in case. But, I mean, the odds are still high, and not only that, Ampidor Keep, let's hear it for Ampidor Keep. Oh, I want to move the, events down here. Okay, now I need to bring chat back up. We are also on Midgarsimer, yeah. Aether Midgarsimer. And... Yep, Dancer's disconnected. Dancer's no longer disconnected. You can't see my portrait, that's a shame. In the event there are any questions about my hotbar, I have my AoE skills for Bard on a macro on the same button. Which is why you don't see my other AoE skills. Is because they're overlapped. So it goes, if this ability isn't available, then default to this, to Quick Knock. I'm in Midgarsimer as well? What the hell? Oh shit. I was not paying attention. All I noticed was the tank was dead. Let's return to save point. If you guys want a free company, we I cast Second Wind like that was gonna heal him. And now we wait. I hope nobody's typing in chat. In game. Nobody's gonna talk about that, I guess. We don't really, or just that as friends, that's fine. We don't do, hardcore stuff, though, I would say. Just as a heads up. Some of my friends do have more interest in hardcore content, ultimates, unreals, and extremes and all that. I really don't have much interest in any of that. I just don't have as much fun with that. So that kind of endgame stuff isn't my goal. So if that's what you're looking for, that's not here. Players are toxic. It is, it's more stressful. And I don't like when people get as stressed. I do like, you know, being physical ranged. You just by nature don't do as much DPS. So I really like to do my best in supporting and also doing as much damage as possible. But I mean, that's all in content where it doesn't really matter. How do we approach this? Okay. Did he die again? No, okay, it was just aggro. The Corgi, if you saw my Corgi minion, that Corgi minion comes from Faux Hollows. I'm not getting that, so I had to pay half my fucking money just to get the Corgi. And I wasn't not gonna pay for a Corgi, come on, man. But still, I can't believe the Corgi was behind Faux Hollows. When they added the Corgi earrings, they added a Corgi bandana, and both of those were behind, what is it? Chloe and Wondrous Tales. But then for the minion itself, the minion's behind Faux Hollows. Like, come on, man. They're probably gonna do away with the range tax. I don't know if they would take away that. There's ways they've been lessening it, right? By making some enemies have massive hitbox range, so that positioning isn't nearly as important because melee will be able to hit from wherever they're doing mechanics from. There's that kind of adjustment, but yeah. They're mitigating it, I would say. They're mitigating it by giving melee players more room to work with. Isn't name enough? Name enough should be. I don't know if you can add me when I'm in a dungeon, but all I do know is that I do have to be online. Nice. Going a lot smoother. Healer, please. I'd have to resub. It's up to you. Consider that if and whenever you do want to play again, I'll probably still be playing, you know. So it's whatever. Don't fret it if you're still taking time away from it. And still want to take time away from it. So I don't want to use Party Finder for it. That's very valid. I'm sorry I'm of no help there though, but definitely that's the thing is I don't want to like see that stress of doing that shit with my friends. And then on the flip side, I also don't want to do it with randoms. Too many Party Finder horror stories. I can see the appeal in watching people do it though, and watching teams do it. And trying to see who gets world first. Excuse me. Ooh, moving to Japan in a few weeks? That's awesome. You may want to stick to a Japanese data server though, considering this game. Unless you take advantage of things that we really can't speak of while streaming this game. You know, like the Primal Alexander. Like the Raid Alexander, haha. Take advantage of the Raid Alexander, and that might be playable. Not gonna be an issue. Great Japanese account to visit Sakaguchi's free company. That's something I love about 14 is bringing all these old heads and legacies to Final Fantasy together in a capacity like it has. I think it's so cool. Because since Sakaguchi's departure from Square, and given the direction Final Fantasy's gone in, and the split of it, it feels like there would be bad terms there. But, you know, knowing Sakaguchi just plays together with everyone in this game is so cool. Demon Wall, Demon Wall, Demon Wall, I swear to God, Demon Wall. Demon Wall is one of my favorite Final Fantasy enemy bosses. I love this stupid thing. Still, like, 8 people who worked on the first FF still at Square. Yep. Yeah, they don't really go anywhere. That's what I was thinking every time I go into the port review videos is, and it's always, people do work under the assumption that it's being done by people and not supervised by original staff, and every time it basically is supervised by the original staff. I don't know, like with Tactics Over, there are changes that there's changes Matsuno didn't get to just. There's things that changed in Tactics Ogre that Matsuno wanted to do originally that he couldn't. And then he gets to do them, and then those things can, I can't say controversial, that's overselling it, but people will be indifferent about it. Beat hard Minerva this morning on Chapter 4. God bless. How did you do it? What was your primary way of doing it? The last time I checked a speedrun and doing it was using Gill Toss, which looked very funny. I don't know if there's a better strategy than Gill Toss, but Gill Toss looks really funny. I tried to do it in the video, and then I realized how much Gill they had on hand. Yeah, exactly. Katase co-directed 7 Remake. Nojima, the original writer of Final Fantasy VII. And I'm maybe I don't have to tell us this, but you know, Nomura, no hand in writing anything FF7 ever. Nojima, writer of the original FF7, also writer on Crisis Core and every spin-off of FF7. He's been there the entire time. Like, it's not like new writers are making fanfiction of FF7. This is the original staff. We cannot agree with it. That's always a possibility. Sometimes you do write a story that doesn't need more told onto it. And even if you are the original that wrote it, like, granted, I don't mind Zack. I don't mind Zack at all. He was still important in the original, and on paper, expanding on who Zack was not a bad idea. Use Costly Punch plus Power Suit, Genji Gloves, HP up plus, and Black Garb, so I had 76k and could survive for hits. So I didn't mention this in the video because I didn't have a solid confirmation, but are any of her attacks one-hit kills instantly? Because that is something I read, but I did not have conclusive evidence on it, so I didn't want to say it in the video. Plus, it wasn't necessary to say anyway. We'll see FF Remake news after 16 comes out. That's probably what they're waiting on. All her magic attacks are cool. Okay, cool. I don't like Angeal. That's fair. Angeal, Genesis are more suspect to being controversial characters, and I won't, like, care. I don't care enough about them to argue that either. So you had to get good at dodging her magic. Man. What was I gonna say? So... And I mean, if you look at Nojima's writing history and what he's worked on, you start to connect a lot of dots. Oh yeah, I was gonna talk about 16 as well. Yeah, 16 not being on PC till the end of the year, probably. That kind of blows. I don't think we all have to get behind him. Someone got a debuff. Man, it's fucking Anvidor Keep. It's a level 50. Little debuff won't hurt anyone. Little ad won't hurt anyone. So yeah, that sucks about 16. I think 16 will be the first, like, worthwhile reason that I'll be glad I have a PS5. Because the PS5 has just been a machine for videos. 16 will probably be the first time I actually, like, enjoy taking advantage of it. I played a bit of the Ratchet, but I never finished it. And I do want to finish it because I think it was good. Let's go buy gear. Never learned you never did the optional dungeons for Heaven Sword and catching up. God bless anyone that never picked up Quarn. Kind of hard to avoid now. I'm pretty sure, if I don't remember this wrong, there did used to be a point in this game where optional quests that unlock stuff did not have blue quest markers. They were just yellow like everything else. But now that everything's blue, it's a lot harder to not accidentally pick that up. I do have an alt that I'm replaying through the story up to Heaven Sword. And on that alt, no, not picking up side dungeons. Definitely not picking up Quarn. Quarn's the one I go to because if you're leveling something and you get an optional dungeon, it will, for whatever reason, usually be Quarn. Hold on, I'm going Gunbreaker. This Gunbreaker needs I care more about eye level on tank. No, I can't afford that. We'll get gloves. Those don't look bad. no, I still like that more. Super Judgment Arrow does 75k damage and removes all buffs, right? Including Phoenix Down. Yep. So I can only do an instant kill if he didn't have enough HP. Right. Save Astronomy for whatever the next step in Hildebrand is. Yeah, I needed the, let's see. You. It's for the, I needed the Dharmic Rain. And I want to exchange that because I need... Ah, I can get plenty of that. Okay. I will... Here, let me queue up for something and then I'll work through this. Okay, I'm gonna just rework my hotbar. If you pay close attention, you may notice why why my hotbar is how it is. But, shh, don't tell anyone. And to be transparent, no, there's no mods active right now. So, I'm always excited for both sides of Final Fantasy. In the side of what's going on with 7 Remake, and then the other side of 16. I'm so hyped for 16. 16, I'm pretty, like, I think I would get a code for it, right? And we would do a stream of it. But buying that collector's edition has been so tempting. The box art for 16 is so sick. It's been so tempting. I've never been, like, that excited for a Final Fantasy game in a long-ass time. And it is something I look forward to. They hit some yellow quests still. Like, yeah, there's still some yellow quests with stuff to unlock. And it bugs me a little, but it's whatever. It's not a huge deal. But yeah, so we were here talking about Persona 3, right? And what's going on with that. I know the reviews are out, and I mean, the reviews are fine, but it's still, I'm not blind, right? This isn't on there. Why is it not on there? What a mess. I will worry about this later. Hate it. I should have been more prepared for that aspect, so I apologize for that. "16 to be successful because I want a non-MMO people to know what the team is capable of." Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that might help with what we were talking about with the issues with, like, how strong Shadowbringers is. Or, like, more so, they started work on 16 after Heavensward, right? So they've been working on it for that long, and it's really more of that staff. I don't know. I don't know if I would be surprised if... I would not be surprised if we didn't see Ishikawa credited in some form for 16. Know about is the Moogles and the rat people from FF9 are hidden behind the... Are you serious? There's Burmesians in Final Fantasy 14? I feel like I would have seen that by now if there were. You don't mean like the short long-nosed dudes? Like full-blown 9 Burmesians? And in the meantime, other things. So if I was to go into what I want to do for the new year, I don't think I actually... To overview this, because I've only talked about like the first month. I want to try... I'm gonna do a test run of streaming often on the channel and see where that goes. That's the number one thing. And for that, channel memberships are active. There is an emote. If you sub, you get a Rita emote. That's the only emote I have right now. I don't know what I'll do with the others, but Rita's the priority. So there's that. The channel memberships are active otherwise. And let's see. So Persona 3, I gotta just let me just pull up my schedule here. Persona 3, Tales and Symphonia, and Trails from Azure and the Battle Network Legacy Collection are priorities, right? Those are the huge priorities. But there's a bunch of games, like I missed Romancing Saga and Valkyrie Chronicles from January, I missed those from December, because because Square Enix releases too many damn games. I'm following all their PR people, and the stress they had over all that is, I can't imagine it. Like, managing the PR and publishing of all that. So, anyway, I miss Romancing Saga and Valkyrie Chronicles. I would like to get back to those. Persona 3 and Persona 4 are releasing at the same time. Tales and Symphonia is the priority. I would really love to cover Like a Dragon Ishin. There is a fan translation of the PS3 version, so I think that would be cool to delve into. Kirby Return to Dreamland is an interesting one, and it would just be interesting to see. And there's still a Persona 5 coming to Switch. There's still Front Mission 2, Front Mission 3, and the Suikoden games. Like, that's all stuff to cover. And then I've still got more obscure ports that I want to like highlight. There's still some modding projects, but that's why I might stream them instead of making full videos for them. And I still want to delve into animation for the year. I have a few animated prospects in the works. But so there's a lot going on this year. YouTube is my primary source of income, so part of this initiative is to help live and help live comfortably. So I would like to delve more into taking YouTube next in regards to that, in a way that does not impede on what my usual plans are. So for those that don't really care to like financially support, it's no big deal. Things will be business as usual. And I think the streams will be non-invasive for those that don't really have an interest in them. Hold on, I'm looking this up, the Burmesians. Is this, this is not, It brings up the Great Woods and, like, they're related. I will look into this later. I got a player. I hate that. I hate Googling something about Final Fantasy XIV and getting a player by the name of it. If you haven't, depending on how far you've gotten into Final Fantasy XIV and when you last played it, they are actively updating the game so that you can do a lot of the story content with NPCs. And I think you can do up to, like, I would say up to the end of base Heavensward just with NPCs. And considering that the longer the game goes on, the easier that content will be. But yeah, they overhauled a lot of older content just for so it's easier to go through single player. And even at that point, I think that it's at a point where you have enough content that you can do with just the NPCs that you'll feel comfortable doing it with other players at whatever point it ends at. Because this also goes for the dungeons, it doesn't go for the trials. Oop, I almost hit reject because I was looking at these. I don't think I have the near minion. I have the mount. I got the I got pod from the gold saucer. The only one without trust is Stormblood. Yeah. I guess that's coming in 7.0, right? Is gotta wave so I don't look like I'm Russian. Yeah, actually, I don't think Stormblood dungeons need rework, though. Like, you know, they've been reworking the dungeons so that they would be friendly for NPCs. And I don't think that needs it done. Oh, boy. Yeah, I don't think Stormblood dungeons need rework, thankfully. So yeah, it probably won't take them as long to add trust to the Stormblood dungeons. We're not gonna stop the bombs. Is he in tank stance? Yeah, he is. Like what they did with the Aram Reborn boss fights. Yeah, though well, so I was gonna say I'm gonna miss a lot of the quirkiness of it, because, you know, there's no place for it when mechanics like those aren't seen anywhere else in the damn game, you know? So they just replace those mechanics with ones that would be more familiar with you and you're gonna see throughout the rest of the game. So in that regard, it makes sense. And there's some boss fights where there are some boss fights where they remove some of the more interesting stuff, but it is in those more interesting mechanics are still in their hardcore or extreme versions. Ultimate weapon feels better. Yeah, yep, definitely. That's a good example of, like, one of the best changes. I don't know how I feel about the Praetorium and the other main scenario dungeon that they turned into a dungeon. I don't know how I feel about those. I did a roulette for those once after they were changed, and it was such a slog. Holy shit. The reward is not worth it, I don't think. Maybe for the otters, Moogle tombstones. maybe that, but still, like, man, that, man. They're way shorter now. Yeah. Yeah, it was for the best. The changes were for the best. That's the thing. I don't like them, but the changes were for the best. They were a mess before. What is he doing? Oh, I guess he's not AoEing. Would it be rude of me to ask if he has the, Oh, he does have it, never mind, okay. I didn't, see, I have my... So I turn battle effects off, and I keep it on my hotbar. I turn battle effects off for any content that's 24-man. Because since Stormblood, you have not been able to see shit with how many effects there are on screen. So I just keep the shortcuts there. And I kept pulling aggro. I was like, is he doing the AoE? That's the thing, is like the dungeon itself is faster, but they're the cutscenes. It's the unskippable cutscenes. That's my thing with it. That's my hang up, is the unskippable cutscenes. That is literally it. Especially like when it is followed up by the fights that go by in the blink of an eye. I think it was sometime during Endwalker. I got one of the new trials. We had like 3 summoners, and I was like, "Hey, do you guys know the command to make the summons smaller?" And that was the first time I ever wanted that command, because I think it's cool that you can have the summons be larger. And at that point, it was like, this is a problem now. By the way, for my stream plans, I might as well pull this up and see what I can rattle off about it. So we're gonna do new game releases, right? Maybe Persona 3. Oh, this way. All right, we're gonna do this first. What's even up here, actually? Over here, buddy. Still lost. New things, mod projects, mod showcases, randomizers, because I want to do more of that FF1 randomizer and also more FF5 Ancient Cave. Crowd control will eventually be supported on... Oh shit, I only have 1 dot. Eventually be supported on YouTube. I can tell you one thing is the Dragon Quest VIII HD texture pack project, which is another complicated story, because, you know, Dragon Quest VIII is also on 3DS, and to my understanding has more content there, right? But at the same time, it would be pretty cool to be able to play Dragon Quest VIII, like, in HD. If they remaster a Dragon Quest game, I think they would have to go for, 8. 2 extra playable characters, man. Thanks for stopping by, Travis. Appreciate it. But yeah, projects like that, and default things would be things like Final Fantasy XIV and Monster Hunter. So those would be plans as well. But otherwise, there are stream plans for any new releases, because there's besides Persona 3, Forspoken is coming up, and we'll discuss that. And it'll primarily be JRPG stuff, and it will be things like I do have friends who I think it would be more interesting to bounce topics off of. So when I do things that are just mindless gameplay, like grinding, I will try to have someone on and we'll talk more. Yeah, Sunbreak, yeah. And bounce topics off of, so it's more interesting. Yeah, go for it, buddy. Go for it. Well, now we get that loot. More Dragon Quest music guys is xenophobe. Yeah, he is. I'll be real, after ignoring that, hearing how much praise there was for Dragon Quest music, I was pretty damn disappointed. In general, I was actually pretty disappointed in 11. And that disappointment comes from the third act being hyped up. I don't think the third act was anything to hype up. I really didn't enjoy that. And regardless of music quality, there are not a lot of songs in that game. And that's kind of a tradition thing, right? To not have that much music, but man, it gets pretty repetitive. So in that vein, I would not complain at all with a change in composer. That's not gonna happen, but it is what it is. But yeah, I was, so I wanna play more Dragon Quest just to, like, have something that, like, my last note on the series being something that I'm not upset about. And there is, of course, I want to cover the Dragon Quest games. There's also a lot of people that ask me to cover it, and I'd very much like to. Well, I mean, he did fine too. Damn it, the portraits are so... The portraits just sway you so much. I'm gonna get out before I take any of this. I need to play more games in the series. That's basically it. I need to play more games and have more experience. The one I want to jump to is 8. I really want to play 8. But when I do that, I'm not sure. I don't think 8's gonna get a remaster either, so that's kind of open. You know, like I've been avoiding covering Final Fantasy Tactics because I'm pretty sure it's gonna get a remaster. So I'm waiting on that so I don't have to remake a video. But, yeah, we'll see on that front. And learning that all I knew of his music as I fell in love was the MIDI version, because that dude was such a strange... Yeah, that composer is the reason why... And this can go either way about how people feel about it. That composer is the reason why, in Japan, Uematsu owns all of his compositions for Final Fantasy. And that is why Final Fantasy games and Square Enix themselves have a hard time getting that music into other Final Fantasy games, is because they have to go through Uematsu. And the reason that Uematsu has that ownership of his music is because of the organization started by the Dragon Quest composer. So it's great that an artist owns their music and they have complete control over it and are owed their royalties on it whenever it appears. Though that is why it took so long to get Final Fantasy music on Spotify, and that is why it takes so long to get music into Final Fantasy XIV and Final Fantasy XV. But it is at the cost of Uematsu gets to completely own his music. What else? You know, they added the blackjack to Final Fantasy XIV, the airship from Final Fantasy VI, and it doesn't have any unique music. It's also only 8 players, right? I think that's pretty disappointing. Like, the music aside, I think that, especially for what is it? Like 14 million MGP? 4 million MGP? Is it 4 million? We can go check. I feel like I'm getting 14 million from somewhere else. 4 million sounds more correct. Yeah, it's 4 million MGP for the blackjack. And that's cool, but for being the most expensive MGP mount, I would expect a little more, you know? You. Or not you. Does that mean Soken owns all his compositions as well? Nope. Just like, here it is. Blackjack. 4 million. Just like, think so with Soken? Does he? Actually, that would be more interesting. Because that, actually, his music isn't gonna get reused in as many things as like Uematsu's does. The Magitech mount, by the way, the golden one? No. Here's what I got. On top of Cloud Pod and this PvP mount, these ones. Who am I thinking of? Yoko Shimomura. Shimomura does so much music. I would be surprised to learn if she did have hers. I never really stopped to think about that, though, if Soken has control over his, and if he does. I just know it's at least a thing with the Dragon Quest VIII composer and with Uematsu. Owns it as well. So so the reason I know more about it in respect to Uematsu and Dragon Quest composer is because they have the longest legacies of, like, being careful with the publishing of it. Well, she's also made music for, like, Nintendo. I wonder if, Nintendo's been cool with that. That's another thing. Oh yeah, that's why, Cloud didn't have any music in Smash, right? At first, Cloud didn't have had very little music in Smash Ultimate, because of Uematsu. That's why we know so more about it in regards to them, is because it's seen more in that case, in that scenario. I guess that makes sense, though. It goes composer to composer in how they publish it. But anyway, anything else to mention or go over? Yeah, those are the plans. I'm going to be doing a lot more streams, and again, money has been a stressful ordeal, and I would like for YouTube to become sustainable income, because it's kind of like on the verge of that right now. And as much as I want to, like, I could do, like, you know, like, weekly videos. I think I'd go insane doing weekly videos. That's a little too much for what I do, and for how much effort each individual video requires, and how much research they all require. And even then, I'm still liable to miss things, but there's that aspect to it. And so it's not viable for me to sustain, like, weekly videos. So the more appropriate avenue so that I can upkeep what I do regularly with my edited videos would be streaming. So I am hoping a streaming venture can pay off and help move the channel forward, and help bring some stability. Which, I'm not sure how many more streams I've done since we did everything for Rita. Rita's been in great shape. Rita's been in great condition and doing so well. And it's made me really, like, happy to see her manage and be so strong. And that is in part thanks to chat. I have just noticed Kate Sith on the wall. Streaming seems like a good move. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I want to do, let's throw ourselves into trials and see what happens. And then that'll be our last, this will be our last daily and last, thing for the stream. Nice. Howling Eye hard. Nice. I might just play more of this game off stream though, but love your comparison videos. Thanks for making them. Help me decide on which Final Fantasy games I should play. As far as remastered. Shit. I was reading your message, and it made me pull the boss. It made me, like, I'm blaming you. I thank you. I appreciate that. Don't worry about it. That's all on me. Okay, I appreciate everyone getting behind cover. No, yeah, it's I want to we're gonna keep it up this year. We got a lot more videos to cover, a lot more series to cover. And it's thanks to the support everything the videos get. I appreciate hearing that. And that is why we will continue on this venture and keep things up. Like I was saying, Persona 3 is next, Tales of Symphonia, Trails of Azure, and what was the other one? Battle Network Legacy Collection. The one I'm looking most forward to. We should do a Battle Network stream, actually. I think that'd be a lot. I should do a Battle Network stream. I should specifically do Battle Network 2, and we should do the Netopia chapter of Battle Network 2. Because I think that'll be the most important thing to take a look at. Yeah, looked at Trails of games. I did Zero. Trails from Zero. Which was a phenomenal fucking game, by the way. Highly underrated. Goddamn. And apparently that series just has better, it just gets better too. So, by God help me find, but they're also long games, of course. So by God help me, like, with all that. At some point I probably will, like, Yakuza marathon through all those games. Hi, Garuda. Man, I have not seen this full fight in so long. Is there a game you play just for the poor comparison? I was amazed at how good it was. That the biggest example of that is Trails from Zero. For the Xenoblade video, that was my first complete full playthrough, and that floored me. To finally see that entire game to its conclusion. Xenoblade 1, that shit was fantastic. And then the whole series paid off. Xenoblade trilogy, so, like, oh man. There will never, like, the Xenoblade trilogy is something that, like, you cannot compete with. Other videos, though, let me pull something up quick. Let me pull up my channel quick. Xenoblade 3 was straight up my game of the year last year. I guess I never got to talk about that on YouTube, in a stream on YouTube, but Xenoblade 3 was my game of the year. Easy, without a blink, over Elden Ring. And Elden Ring deserves so much love too. Elden Ring is gonna shape the fucking industry in its importance, cannot be understated. Xenoblade 3 concludes on a trilogy of games that, like, Monolith is unparalleled in how ambitious their open worlds are, and it's so stuffed with content. You talk about games that are worth paying $70 for, don't tell Nintendo that. But, like, no, yeah, Xenoblade 3 put this nice bow on a trilogy of games that's, I feel, is unparalleled. And not just, like, lives up to the expectations of sending off a trilogy of games, but it excels in ways better than the other two. And on top of that, it's another testament to Monolith's ambitions and how ambitious open world their games are and how much they succeed at that. There are not a lot of AAA devs that can be as ambitious with scale. I'm talking specifically for the scale of their open worlds. AAA studios really can't get as ambitious as Monolith and see as much success. It's not like, I don't think it's like industry shaping like Elden Ring is. I don't think it needs to be either. It's just, Monolith has this seal of quality to it. They know what they do and they execute it well, even with it being as ambitious as it is. Let's see. Final Fantasy X, when I did the video for that, was like the time where I put the most time into playing it, because I always panned Final Fantasy X before it. And doing the intro of Final Fantasy X, like dozens and dozens of times, I eventually started to appreciate it. Naturally, a lot of the games I've done, more of the first times I played through them fully to completion. That's what it's been mostly, is for the first time playing them to completion has been for videos. And so there could be a few examples of that. Like Final Fantasy VIII gets more crap than it deserves. I felt Star Ocean was pretty underrated. The Mana games as well. Even though we know Secret of Mana, right? But always glad we have Trials of Mana. Yeah, looking back, I think the best example is Trails from Zero. Still scrolling through. It's kind of the same thing with Chrono Cross. Chrono Cross got a lot of crap back in the day because they could not live up to Chrono Trigger. Really don't care for OG 7 and 10 myself. That's fair, yeah. Final Fantasy is, I think, even beyond Sonic, is the most divisive, like, franchise, period. What makes Sonic so divisive is the generational gaps between games and what people grew up with or what people prefer. But Sonic's changes have been more to, like, I don't know how to describe it. The changes in Sonic, between Sonic games, is more straightforward. And in Final Fantasy, it'll be easier to say this. For Final Fantasy games, they get so divisive because we get to games like Final Fantasy VIII and Final Fantasy X, where the developers say level systems are arbitrary, so we won't have leveling systems. And so we get things like cards, or the board in 10. They get experimental, sort of just because they want to experiment and do something different in those regards. So I guess Final Fantasy gets to be more experimental in that regard. And that leads to a lot of divisiveness. Depending on how you feel about it. And then there's games like 15 and 12, which aren't the most divisive gameplay-wise. Well, I mean, 12 on launch was seen as a hard game because people were not used to it. The sphere grid, right. Yeah, and even then, Final Fantasy XII still had traditional leveling to it. 15 is a whole other can of worms, but like I said, I still love 15. For all of its flaws, the flaws are undeniable. The issues in 15 are undeniable. I still love it. They're also tonally different. Sonic games do have a more consistent tone, and I think we could say that. And when the tone does shift in Sonic games, it's more gradual. That's the word I'm looking for. The changes in Sonic games have been more gradual. Not counting like Shadow, but other than that. And Final Fantasy... Final Fantasy game to Final Fantasy games, their tone shifts are not gradual. When you go from 7 and 8 to 9, and then you go back to what 7 and 8 were doing in 10 in that approach, and it's because they were handled by Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 10, and 13, we gotta throw 13 in there, are handled by branches of the same team, and then Final Fantasy 6, 9, 12, 11, 14... are handled by their own branch. It's not like clear cut like that, but that's where it starts at. And I personally love both sides evenly, but I do have I think I have more of a preference for the side of 6, 9, 12, 14. I love 7, but 8 and 10 are 8, 10, and 13. I'm more iffy about. That's why it's like I know what to expect in comments when I upload a video. And I think you would get it I think it's in every one of my videos on Final Fantasy games, where at least with the 3D ones, where it's like, which one do you want to play? The answer is none of them. That really funny comment, that's in every video. I don't know if people care that much about the 2D ones. Out of the 2D ones, 5's my favorite. And 3 is a close second. I really wasn't actually that big on 6. But what carries 5 and 3 is their mechanics. But there is still a lot of things to love about 6. That's not to put any of them down. Upon a tier list of Final Fantasy games, like the job system, yes, it's the job systems. Even then with 6 is still fine, it gets the job done. It still has more going on. I love Final Fantasy IX, right? Final Fantasy IX made such a huge impression on me, but that gameplay system is really nothing to write home about. It's just kind of there, it's inoffensive. Which is why, maybe we'll do a Final Fantasy IX stream so I can talk about this, because they might remaster the Final Fantasy IX remake. I don't know if we can, I don't think the Nvidia leak's even a rumor anymore. So we know that there's a Final Fantasy IX remake in the works. And what the hell is that guy buying back there? So there's I guess one of the most interesting aspects is what they'll do with the gameplay. because Final Fantasy IX's gameplay is so inoffensive. It doesn't really, it has not much to write home about. Hi, Omnio. Bye, Omnio. I need to read Omnio's emote, because he didn't just poke me. The emote that he poked me with said, Omni Omega poked the squishy fat of Vet Dazkar to the majestic aria is of all that is beautiful and sacred. There's a lot to talk about with Final Fantasy IX because it's also getting a TV show. It's getting an animated series. And yeah, so there's a lot to talk about with that. We'll do that another stream. I'll write it down so that I know to talk about that on another stream. Here. Write that down, both Battle Network discussion and FF9 remake discussion. See, that's the kind of thing I want to do, is have like a primary topic like that to go into. And there's plenty of that to go around. Now, I'm pretty sure the FF9 show wasn't even a rumor. That was something confirmed. Yeah, PS4 port of it. I give it the speed up. But yeah, I think we'll call it here, guys. I've gone over the plans. We did a lot in 14. I have some things to manage off stream. I will... I would like to be prepared the next time so I can do other jobs on stream. So we'll have that worked out next time. Hold on, I got a text from Mom. So yeah, we'll wrap it up there. I will be back, maybe for Persona 3, if they get back to me with it. I would like to. If not, we can just play another version and just go over it and discuss it. So we'll do that. And then any other upcoming streams on here, I'm not really sure of. But like I said, we're going to try to do more than one stream a week, so we can try like 3. So there will be something else this week besides Persona 3. And we will figure that out in time. And have more of this to discuss, so... Yeah, alright, thanks everyone for tuning in. And again, thank you for all the ongoing support, and... till next time, thanks for watching, everyone.